Hey there, it's Stacy with Love Fabu, and today we're having fun with finance, and we've got the Miss Fabulous and Smarty Pants, Miss Catherine Ciccoletti. She left her high-powered job on Wall Street, and she finds finance people quite annoying. So we're going to answer some of your questions today. So what do you have, Missy?
Okay, this one, a woman asked about investing. Okay, she says, a lot of my friends don't think you should ever invest in stocks because of their volatility and only invest in municipal bonds because of their security. That's wrong. But I have never been able to...
Why is that wrong?
I'll explain.
Okay.
But I've never been able to make any sort of significant return on municipal bonds. Okay, so you obviously get it. I'm 32 years old, so is now the time to take on more risk. Okay, let's just explain. I just want to explain like bonds in general because I think a lot of... Sorry, I'm taking my earrings off. These are hurting me. Okay, so a bond is, first of all, a loan. So if you buy, let's say if you buy a bond or a bond fund, all you're doing is say, and you give $100, right, to a company. You get a bond in return. I mean, it's just a term, and you give them your money, and then you get interest payments in return. And let's say the bond is a 5-year bond. That means you gave them your money for 5 years, a loan, and you're getting interest payments in return from them for 5 years. So that's all a bond is.
Yeah.
So a bond fund is just you're investing your money in a pool of bonds. And so your money is essentially getting loaned out to companies, to the government, and you're getting interest payments in return. So the thing is with municipal bonds or with any bonds, municipal bonds that are issued by a city, for example, there's something called interest rate risk. And where we are right now in the cycle of interest rates, there's a high amount of interest rate risk for bonds, for high-grade bonds. And what I mean by that is when interest rates go up, the value of your bonds go down. And I'll explain that in a minute. But interest rates right now are still at historical lows. Any of you guys know that who've bought a home recently or refinanced have been able to take advantage of lower interest rates. Now, the reason why your bonds lose value when interest rates increase, and they will go back up to historical levels, average historical levels, is because, think about it, like if you're getting an interest payment of say 3% right now for loaning your money out, and that's your bond that you own, okay? You own bond A, and you're getting 3% interest payment for loaning your $100 out for, let's say, 5 years. Now, let's say interest rates increase to 5%, okay? Now companies are paying 5% in interest if you loan out $100 for 5 years. So your bond that you own that is only paying 3% is worth less because you're getting a lower interest rate. So the value of your bond has gone down because interest rates have gone up. So with interest rates being so low, bonds are at risk for losing money. And in 2013, a lot of bond funds were down around 10% because of interest rates going up. So municipal bonds are subject to interest rate risk when they start going up even more than they have over the last couple years. You're going to have a hard time. So your question on volatility, stocks being too volatile, if you're 32 and you're a long-term investor, volatility really should not be a concern for you because your money is invested for the long term. And I have an investment cheat sheet that I distribute on my site, and this is something that I just wrote about. A lot of people are getting tripped up on volatility, and you don't need to worry about these swings in the stock market if you're a long-term investor.
I hear that, yeah.
Yeah, if you stick to a rebalancing schedule. So bonds as a young person at this point, 32 being young, I'll just tell you right now, I own 0 bond funds. So when you say you're 32 years old, is it now time to take on more risk? I mean, I personally, I don't know your risk tolerances, but stock funds are more interesting to me than any sort of bond funds at this point if you're a long-term investor. So I hope that helps.
It is more interesting to watch the different companies instead
Yeah.
of like a city
Yeah.
bond or something like that.
Yeah.
You can always support it too by buying more.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't even get into talking about the tax benefits of munis, but since I'm not high on muni bond funds, it doesn't even matter. I don't know if there were any other things that you wanted me to cover, or...
No, I think that's quite enough. I've learned a lot just from listening to you, so thank you so much.
Sure.
And if you want to go onto our website, you can go to MakingSenseBabe.com. And once again, Catherine Cicoletti.
All right.
Is that it?
Bye.